Seems the top two picks are locked in. Given the volatility after that, how loud has the debate been amongst your crew in terms of what you might be able to do at 25?
I think it's lively and it's a fluid situation for sure. It's tough to predict right now, even with the top two picks locked in, what's going to be there or not at 25. So try not to have our people do too much undue prognosticating, which we aren't especially good at in my experience the day before the draft. So we'll just be as prepared as possible and be ready for when we get onto the floor tomorrow night to see whatever happens and then just roll from there.
Do you look to move up at all?
It would totally depend on what's available and we'll see where things fall on the draft floor, but we're not opposed to anything.
Without Hunter being sort of a part of this process that you left, how has it sort of changed for you guys and how you've been preparing for this?
Well, I think we've relied heavily on our area directors of scouting, and we've got a lot of very good people involved, whether it's Reed Mitchell, Brandon Pridham, and now Lawrence Gilman, plus our area directors of our staff. It's been a really smooth process. They worked extremely hard at it in the last month, which has been a relief for me. It's been the way that they've handled it has made my life quite easy, and they've been very prepared, and the days have kind of just rolled on. And so our process, I think, has been good, but we'll see tomorrow night how it all plays out, Kristen, and go from there. So.
Reading that Miro Aaltonen's heading back to Europe, I mean, it's a tough loss, obviously, and tough to compete maybe. Does this maybe put an extra incentive for Frederick Gauthier or even drafting a center moving forward?
Well, I don't think the center we replace, if we draft a center tomorrow, Paul, we can't count on him, certainly. I think that if anything, it creates some incentive for our internal people. It's another depth spot that opens up for us, and we had kind of counted on Miro challenging for a spot on the Maple Leafs next year for sure. He was great for the Marlies, and we appreciate his efforts. I don't begrudge his decision whatsoever. I think it probably makes our situation more lucrative for both centers and wingers in free agency that are maybe looking at our situation, and so that'll help us as we come into July 1st, and that'll increase our focus on that on July 1st as well.
Miro, was that a hockey decision or a personal decision for him to go back?
What we were told from Miro and his people was that he wanted to be featured on the #1 scoring line there in the KHL, and I don't begrudge that. So that was his decision that was relayed to us, and via his agent and himself. So we appreciate his efforts and what he did with the Marlies, and wish him well.
Kyle, there's not a lot of time between the draft and then the courting period of free agents. Does it help, like you said, that you have your area directors in place and prepared, that you can already start and have been looking ahead to that courting period of free agents?
Yeah, I think, Mike, the key thing with the courting period is that we've got Dave Morrison, who has more experience than almost anybody on our staff. And so he, combined with Troy Bodie, Mike Penny, Tom Watt, and Jim Rock, our pro staff, they were in all last week. They've been very, very well prepared and ready for free agency. So we feel very, very good about where we're at heading, and that's Saturday at midnight, or Sunday at midnight rather, and we'll be ready for that. You're always trying to keep abreast of who's signing, who isn't. Just keep our eye on it and be ready for anything come Sunday night.
Does this kind of remind you of, like in college they have that recruiting period? Is this kind of a similar thing?
It's interesting. I think it's the league. They've put this in recently, and I think for anything, it's good for the media, and it's good for and I mean that seriously. It's good for media and good for attention on the game, because there's no gap in between. There's people tracking where people are flying and going, and I think as much as you can keep the momentum of your season and your public relations rolling along, it's only good for the league to keep it in the public eye. So it makes things a little bit hectic for us. We have our development camp next week as well, but our development staff will handle that, and I'll put my whole focus on free agency.
In regards to your own free agents, you said you were keeping the lines of communication open. Have you indicated for them to circle back possibly after?
The conversations, Mike, are always rolling. So we're in constant dialogue right now with our own free agents and with their representatives, and get a sense of where they're at and where their head is at heading in, and we'll see how things shake out come next week.
Do you anticipate, Kyle, signing the rest of your RFAs?
I think by and large, Terry, that's what we're going to work towards. There's a few that we won't, but we had a few trickle out yesterday. We're working on those situations here today. That the qualifying deadline is on Monday, so at the very least we'll have news on that on Monday afternoon about who we've qualified and who we haven't, and we'll roll from there.
Is Justin Hall an RFA, Kyle?
Yeah, Justin Hall is a restricted free agent, yes.
How about Marincin? Is he going to be back with the organization?
I think we're in discussions with Marty's people to see where he stands or not. I think he proved in the playoffs he's a very, very valuable member of any organization. I know he's had a turbulent ride here, and it was great to see him start to earn his confidence this year with the Marlies, start to skate, make more plays, very, very solid defensively and excellent on the penalty kill, as he always has been. But I think our whole organization was very impressed with how Marty's game grew. I know he's not a young prospect by any means. He's a 92 born, but we're happy with where Marty is, and I think he'd be a valuable member for us moving
Are
forward.
you making any headway with Nylander?
At this time, I'm going to meet with Louis Gross here in the coming days. We've got lots of time, and we've got lots of time, patience to work with that. There's no real end date in my mind. We'll just keep working towards it, and William's an important part of what we do here.
With that cap locked in at 79.5, are you comfortable with what you have and hope to do this summer at that number?
Oh, we have lots of cap space this summer, so that's always nice. Using it effectively is the next part of it, and that falls on me and our management team. But I'm confident that we'll use it properly. We'll take stock of what our various different options are, and then use it appropriately to help to continue to move our franchise forward. That's the mode that we're in now, is trying to move it forward. We're happy with our coaching staff, happy with our players, and it's an asset for us right now, and our plan is to use it effectively.
What did you see out of Calvin that led you to want to bring him back?
Well, I think you have to make a decision on the goalie, Scott, and with him, we depth at the goaltender position is always a very good thing, and he played very well. The goalie that was his partner there just happened to have the best season of any goalie in the league and was named goaltender of the year. So we were kind of spoiled in that regard with the Marlies this year. And with Calvin, he's an elite character person with good experience. He's obviously a very good goaltender as well, and he'll help out our depth and compete with the guys above him on the depth chart and be ready come the fall.
With 4 goalies on those contracts, so I guess we don't count Freddie, Kyle, but do you anticipate a trade of one of them?
I think it's nice to have those assets. It's very hard when you don't. Lou, in his time here, that the goaltender trade for Freddie was an outstanding deal that's paying dividends for us and will continue to. So I think we would rather have depth in that position and then worry about trying to scramble and fill it. So we're happy with our depth there right now, Terry. And if there's something that's enticing for everybody, then we'll maybe look at it. But right now, we're content with our depth.
Duran said today things are pretty active trade talk wise, or at least with the phones. Now I appreciate he's in a whole different situation than perhaps you are right now, but is it busy for you as well? Like, are you hearing a lot more than maybe usual?
Well, this is my second time heading into the draft in this position, and my first time in the full-time role. So I would say it's probably equal to 2015, just from my previous experience. It doesn't seem, and we were in a different spot then as well. We were completely rebuilding, and everything was sort of on the table. We had obviously a big trade in the works that didn't come to fruition for a couple more days after the draft on the eve of free agency. But right now we're in active talks with everybody. Teams are stating their intentions, what they'd like to do. There have been a few trades already, of course, and we're just sort of monitoring everything and seeing if there's a fit for the Maple Leafs that can help improve us.
Is that taking so long today inside the meeting? Was there any more discussions?
There was some. I don't know. That was really my first time in there, so I have no experience to tell you what's long and short. And if you ask me in a few years, I'll maybe be able to give you a better answer.
That was a long one.
So, sure, long for you guys, I think.
What was it like for you to be in there for the first time?
Well, I was in there in 2015 as well, I should say, and that one was shorter for sure. But for me, it's an honor, I suppose. You work towards it. You look around and you see some of the best managers and personnel people in the history of the game. So it's humbling, and you realize in my position, you still have a lot to learn and a lot to work towards. And it's listening to the people talk and how they think, and different managers of different experience levels talking about various different elements of the game. For me, I look at it as a great learning experience as well as ability to represent our club. So very thankful and honored, frankly.
How much energy are you guys putting into that interview period with free agents? Is there extra things you can do to try to stand out among the other teams competing for some of these guys?
I don't think so. Not until we get to Saturday or Sunday night, I guess. Saturday night, Sunday morning, and we'll see who's available at that time, and then we'll kind of chart our resources from there in terms of what we're going to do. So.
You had Kevin Yarringer from the Humboldt Broncos presenting. Maybe just can you give us a sense of what his presentation was?
Ooh. Yeah. Very touching, and I'd never had heard from that perspective, like exactly what it was like to go through it. Both in Sault Ste. Marie and with the Marlies, you ride on the bus all the time, and you never really take into account anything like that could ever happen to you. And then to hear him speak of the impact, and I think what you learn when you sit and you listen is the impact that we can all make. Like when I say all, I mean the whole sport. So the players, management, the media can make on healing a community and helping a community to heal. And that was a very impactful presentation, and to see the strength of he and his wife was remarkable, and how they're helping the community and the team move forward. But very, very remarkable and touching presentation for sure.